are back with comedian David Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. I made a couple of fucking errors today. There's a carnival in town, so I thought, why not go to a fucking carnival? We'll all go down. I'll take my kid. I'll take his little rat friend he's been hanging around with since we've been here. My kid will just find any old riffraff to hang around with. This fucking little mini Joe Dirty's been hanging around with. He came around yesterday and they've been playing, so I was like, fuck it. I'll take this kid with us to the carnival. I was feeling a little bit sorry for him. Apparently his parents are junkies. It's Christmas and I was feeling a little bit empathetic. And then we roll up to the fucking carnival and Rat Boy goes, yay, this is the 4th time I've been here this year. I'm like, what? Your parents aren't fucking junkies. They're selling the shit. Because it's $35 fucking for unlimited rides. When you do something out of the kindness of your heart, you always think the person you're doing it for is going to have a little bit of fucking gratitude, don't you? And that's the wrong way to think. You never do something for someone else expecting anything back, any gratitude, anything. You just do it. And Joe Dirt Jr. was no exception. He showed no fucking gratitude. Not only that, he just kept on asking for shit. Can I have fairy floss? Yeah, alright, fairy floss. Can I play the fucking shooting game at the carnival that no one can win? Alright. Can I jump on the trampoline? No, you need different tickets to that. You've already got the unlimited ticket. He's like, let's go buy some new tickets. I'm like, you better settle down, kid. Settle right the fuck down. So there's 2 mistakes straight away. First one's going to the carnival. Second one's taking Rat Kid. The third one was I decided to go on the Gravitron. Me. For those of you who don't know what the Gravitron is, the Gravitron is basically a large steel spinning top you hop inside of, you stand against the wall, and then it begins to spin at the same G-force you leave the orbit of the Earth at. Then as you're spinning around and you're stuck to the wall and you can't move, they remove the floor from the Gravitron. And you might be thinking to yourself, how is this even possibly legal? There must be strict safety guidelines for this, and it must be operated by some type of engineer, mustn't it? No. The only guideline is you need to be taller than the candy cane which is painted out the front of the ride. And the operator is no fucking engineer. No, it is operated by fucking carny folk. Carny folk with fucking fantastic hair and no teeth. Every single fucking one of them had beautiful, thick, luscious, carny hair and no fucking teeth. That must be a combination of meth and cotton candy. So I went on this fucking Gravitron. I don't know why. I don't know what I was thinking. But about 5 seconds into it, I knew this is going to take a while to recover from. You're fucking spinning around at like 8 Gs. You can't peel your head off the wall. So I did that and I've been a little bit shook since. And the final mistake I made was sneaking my 4.5-year-old kid onto the cha-cha. The cha-cha is another piece of equipment. You would think you need about a 3 or 4 year apprenticeship to learn how to operate, but it seems like all you really need is a fantastic head of hair and no teeth. And if you don't know what the cha-cha is, just fucking Google it. It's another spinning, make you throw up your fucking Dagwood dog, your Pluto pup, and your fairy floss. So we're sitting there on the cha-cha. I can barely hold myself up. My son's head starts wobbling around like he'd passed out. I can't really look to see if he has actually passed out or not because I'm trying to fucking hold myself up. He goes kind of limp. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Did I make a huge mistake here? My son's head's just flapping in the wind. Every time we go around, it's just limp. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I was kind of panicking. And then the ride slowed down. And his head stiffened up a little bit. He's like, yay, can we go again? I'm like, fuck, I thought you were half dead. And then we left and I bought Joe Dirt Jr. some fucking KFC. It was about 5 or 6 mistakes in about 2 hours. And the whole excursion cost about $150. With no thank you from fucking anyone, anywhere. But that's not what you're after. That's what I mean. If you're gonna give, just give. Don't expect anything from it. Anyway. It is Wednesday and we are back with Boyle Breaks History this week. Last week, missed last week. It was nice not having to do any fucking study for a week. But we are back this week, and this week I have decided to cover a topic which one of my best mates called me and said, Boyle, listen, can you do a topic for me? Can you do a Boyle Breaks history on Benito Mussolini and the fascists in Italy? And I'm like, well, mate, that is a topic that is very close to my heart. I literally know nothing about Mussolini. Until yesterday, I didn't even know his name was Benito. I thought it was just the Mus. Benny the Mus. So that's what we're doing this week. We're going to have a little look into Benito Mussolini, the fascists in Italy, and what the fuck went down there. So Mussolini was a little short fuck too. All these dictators and fucking fascists and war fucking mongerers are all midgets. Why is that? Why didn't one tall guy just go up to like Stalin or Hitler or Mussolini and just fucking smash him in the face? Hey, you little short fuck, shut up. So Mussolini started out as a socialist. He became famous in Italy as a socialist. He was writing for some fucking newspaper or something. He was one of the leading socialist voices in Italy at the time. And then World War I came around and the socialists were like, we want nothing to do with the war, we're neutral. And Mussolini was kind of like, well, I don't know about neutral. Italy's heaps good at fucking war. Why don't we get involved? Why don't we support this? And then the socialists were like, hey, Mussolini, shut the fuck up. You're out of the Socialist Party now. And Mussolini was like, what? And they're like, yeah, you're out, cunt. And Mussolini was like, yeah, well, you know what? I'm a fucking fascist now. Which is a pretty big fucking 180. That should have been the first sign that this cunt is unstable. I think Mussolini invented fascism. I think he was the first fascist. So once he got kicked out of the Socialist Party, he started his own party and he called it the Fascist Party, which is a fucking ballsy move. That's basically calling your party No Freedom Anymore Party. What the fuck were the Italians thinking? Who the fuck was looking at the Fascist Party going, kind of like the sound of this Fascist Party. It sounds pretty open-minded. I like some of their ideas. I like the dictator thing. I like the no democracy. I like all of the things they're going on about. So Mussolini and the fascist party started gaining some followers somehow. They reckon he was pretty charismatic and his facial expressions and his body language and all that was like masterful. But I watched some of his fucking speeches and he looks like a fucking cartoon. But he basically did the same thing as Hitler. Italy was fucked after World War I. The economy was fucked. Industrialization was fucked. And he started talking some shit about restoring Italy back to the days of the Roman Empire. And so I guess plenty of greaseballs were fucking into that. So in 1922, what happened was Mussolini and 30,000 of his followers, who were known as the black shirts because they used to wear black shirts, to hide their rigs because black is slimming. They were known as black shirts, but they were also known as t-shirts in the pool. They were just always trying to hide their shitty rigs. Anyway, these 30,000 fat Italians did the March on Rome. They marched on Rome to demand a fascist government be installed. This is how psychotic people are. We demand you to take away our freedoms. If you don't take away our fucking liberties, there will be hell to pay. So they get to Rome, and the police and the military refuse to stop them. They get to Rome, and then the king of Italy at the time makes Mussolini the prime minister. Like it was some sort of fucking game. Well done, your efforts are now rewarded. So Benny the Mus became prime minister, but he called himself Il Duce, which translated means the douche. No, it doesn't. It means the leader. And then once he was prime minister, he changed some laws. He won an election. He effectively became the dictator of Italy. And being a dictator, he began doing dictator shit. He stamped out opposition. He took over the media. Everything was Mussolini propaganda. The most popular show in Italy at the time was actually called Everybody Loves Mussolini. It's about him and his giant gay brother. And he also wanted to expand Italy's territory, take over shit, prove to the world Italy was now a power again. And his first target was Ethiopia. That is how shit Italy is at war. They're like, let's take over some shit. They had a look around. They're like, who can we beat? They're like, Ethiopia. Let's hit those cunts hard. And some of the other Italians must have been like, oi, bro, they haven't even eaten there in like 30 years. There's no fucking food there. We've got lasagna here. There's spaghetti. Let's just fucking chill on Ethiopia. And Mussolini was like, no, the world needs to respect us. And they're like, the world's not going to respect you for taking over Ethiopia. They've got sticks and rocks and no food. But Ethiopia sort of became the reason why he partnered up with Hitler. And that wasn't really a good move by Hitler either, because wherever Italy fought in World War II, they got their ass handed to them. Wherever they fucking fought, the Germans had to go in and bail them out. That's why I never understood how the Italian mafia could take over America, pretty much, when the Italian army could barely fight off Hungary. Anyway, long story short, you know what happened in World War II. It didn't go well for Italy or Germany. Mussolini tried to flee over to Switzerland, and just before he got to the border, was caught by the communists, the socialists who kicked him out 20 years prior, and he was shot, and then his body was dumped in Milan, and then they strung him up by the feet, and the public went past and threw rocks and spat on his body for like a few days. So that was the end of Mussolini and the fascists. And that brings to a close another episode of Boyle Breaks History, and that is it for tonight. See you the fuck later.